Welcome back, guys, to my YouTube channel, which is Excel Practice. We all know that there is no particular platform to practice Excel. But this channel, I want to fill this gap. So, moving forward in the pivot table series, let's come to the today's topic, which is grouping. But before that, let's revise what we learned in the previous video. So, basically, we learned about the mixed data report and the multiple calculations done with the pivot table, right? Like these kind of things we done. This is the multiple calculation and this is the mixed data report we learned in the previous video. If you want to watch, you can see the YouTube series in my channel. So moving forward to my today's agenda, which is we learn about the grouping. So this is our new data and different data sets from the previous video where we have date data, like we have date, years, months, etc. So let's start with a scenario like your boss told you to calculate the total and revenue in the each month from each year. So this kind of tasks you want to perform. So I'm gonna do this task by using grouping things. So let's start. I press the Alt and V. I choose the new worksheet and click OK. So here we comes with the pivot table fields. So what I'm gonna do, I drag the date in the row field and total line revenue in the value field. Okay. So right now it is showing me every distinct date. But what I want every month like differentiate by the year. Okay. So for grouping thing, just right click and here you can find a group option. Click on that, and here comes the pop up window. Like in this particular window, there is a starting and ending date, which is by default. And here is the thing that how you group your data. Like I want to group this data by month and also by year. So I select both and I click OK. See, woo, like wow. You cannot expect this kind of power of pivot table. Like you cannot do manually these kind of thing using formulas or like anything. And it if you can, like it surely will take so much time. So using this kind of data. So basically it's showing me only 2010 because our data contain only 2010 data. So let's try to change some years. Like let's say I change this year to 11 and also this 11, and let's say now see the difference. Okay, I'm gonna right click on that and click on refresh button. See, we can see the 2011 data in this particular pivot table. So this is basically a grouping is done. Let's move to the different scenario. Let's move to the data. Let's say we have a time data and I want to like find the total line revenue of by time. Like I want to know during which time our uh, transactions and selling things are at the edge, and at which time the customers are not like really like the shopping or something else. So by this data we can analyze these things. So let's do that. I press Alt and V. I choose the existing worksheet and I choose the sheet number 3, no, sheet number 2. Okay. I drag down and choose this place for the thing. Okay. And press OK. So I get the pivot table. And what I'm going to do, I drag the time into row and unit sold in the values. Okay. So right now it is showing me every time, but I want to group these times. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I press the right click button and click on the group option. Here comes the different kind of like how what I want to group. So I want to group by hours. Okay, I remove the month. I want to group by hours and click OK. See, this is a very good thing. Like I can know like which hour is the maximum sales unit sold, right? This is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 means like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 5, 3 p.m., etc. So let's analyze things like you also know that we can make the pivot table chart. And this pivot table chart is very, very flexible with the table, right? Like you can see that like there is a maximum unit sold between 11 and 12 and also 15 and 16. That means 3 and 4. So this is the thing like we can do using the grouping. Like these are the some use case that helps in grouping. So like we also have to know about the problem that is associated with grouping. So let's do that. Like let's know about what is the problem associated with group. So as I have a data, so this is our data, right? A small data set. I want to show the problem that is associated with grouping, like what kind of problem that you can face. So this is my date column, and let's make a pivot table to know about. Click Alt and V. Okay, I choose the existing worksheet and click on that side. Okay, so let's like drag the date. Okay, and let's try to group. Oh no, like I cannot group that selection. Why? This kind of data. Why? See, there is a empty data, like our data set that have a date column have a null values. Okay, so that's why we can't group. Okay, so let's try to fill that. Okay, let's try to refresh the pivot table. Okay, and now I'm gonna do the grouping. Okay. Ooh, no, still I can't do that grouping. Why? Maybe because there is a selection like the format of the date is not matching with the other formats. So also we have to change that. Like you can see. Okay. Now refresh. Mm-hmm. Okay, we change the data set and now let's try to group that. Ooh, again, I cannot group that selection. But why? Like I fill all the gaps, change the formatting. There is a one more different thing that is happen in the data set, which is duplicacy. You can see there's a two same data here, right? You cannot group the data when we have a duplicacy in the data sets. Okay, so let's change. I change this to 2. No, let's change to 12. Okay, I change the data set and now I make a refresh command. Okay, I refresh the data and let's see whether we group. Yes, we can group the data now. Okay, so there is a 3 points to be remembered during the grouping. Like you cannot group the data if you have the null values. Second, the formatting should be in the date format, right? And that very important, the third thing, like you do not have the duplicacy in your data, right? You have to remember these points when you perform the grouping. And with the big data sets, this kind of problem is very common. So before analyzing and before doing anything with the data, you have to perform the pre-processing steps before analysis, like removing the null values, removing the duplicacy, check for the formats, and so on. These are the basic steps that we are doing during the pre-processing steps. So let's try to find the different, like the second problem that is associated with the grouping. So here's my I have two different like type of numerical values. Like one side I have integer and second side I have a decimal values. So let's try to find that whether the grouping are happen for the same reason or not. Like if you ask me why I'm doing that, like why are to group the sales values, like so for example, let's say I have to like determine like how much sales are happen with me in the $8 to $11. So this kind of problem I want to solve by using this group command in this particular sales integer values. So let's try to find out. I select the group and alt and V. I choose the existing worksheet and choose the location and press OK. So I drag this into row. Okay. And sales value integer into values also. Okay. So let's try to do a grouping. I right click on that and press group. Okay. So when I press the group option, I have a pop-up window which have a endpoint and start point. So I change this. Okay. I state it as a 1 and 2, and I want to make the interval of 5. Okay. So I press OK. Okay, I get the values, right? Like if you want to change the interval, you can also change the interval, right? So let's say I want to change to the count. I don't want sum. I want to count how much values are there between 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, and 16 to 20. Okay. But let's try to find what happen if I use the decimal values, right? Alt and B. I use the existing worksheet and choose the location right here and press OK. Okay, so I drag the sales decimal values and values and change the field value setting to count because I want count. Okay, so now let's perform the grouping thing. Okay, so again there is a range value appear. I change the range value to 0 to 20. Okay, and also give a 5 interval, like I want the interval of 5. See, you see the pattern, right? Here's a value. Like if I change to again the grouping thing to 0, let's say. See, 0 to 4, 5 to 9. Again, you can see that the values are same, right? The count of decimal are same, but the intervals are different, right? Yeah, 0 to 4, 5 to 9, but here 0 to 5, 5 to 10. So where the 5 count, like whether here or here, right? We don't know. So in basically in the sales decimal thing, our 5 is counted, like in this particular range our upper limit is counted and lower limit is not counted. So 5 is counted here, 10 is counted here, 15 is counted here, and 20 is counted here. So this is the point to remember when you grouping the integers value and the sales value, right? You get the specified interval when using the integers, but you get the ambiguous values when you're using decimals. And you have to remember that the upper limit is included and lower limit is not included. So this is all about the grouping thing, and there are some use cases and what's the different scenarios that is associated with the grouping. Just have to remember that. Okay, so thank you for watching. Bye bye, and see you in the next video.